Kenosha County District Attorney Michael Graveley announced Tuesday he will not charge any of the Kenosha police officers involved in the August 2020 shooting of Jacob Blake. Speaking at a press conference Tuesday afternoon, Graveley said he looked at what evidence would be admissible in a jury trial and what would be sufficient to get a conviction before making his decision. He said he didn't think he could prove the officers weren't acting in self-defense. Kenosha police officer Rusten Sheskey, who was white, shot Blake, a black man, in the back 7 times on August 23 while Sheskey and 2 other officers were trying to arrest him for an outstanding sexual assault warrant. Blake is now paralyzed from the waist down. In November, the state dropped the sexual assault charges against Blake. Graveley began the press conference expressing sympathy for Blake and his family, calling the shooting a tragedy, and adding that he spoke to Blake by phone a few minutes before the press conference. "I feel inadequate for this moment. I have never in my life had to contend with implicit bias because of my race," Graveley said. "I have also not gone to a work shift knowing that I could face armed persons knowing they could end my life." But Graveley said what he does have is nearly 3 decades as a prosecutor. After announcing there would be no charges, Graveley spent the better part of the expected 2-hour press conference explaining his reasoning, including playing 911 tapes and showing a video of the shooting. Former Madison Police Chief Wray, who was brought in by state to do an independent use of force review of the Blake shooting, also spoke. He said Blake had a knife at the time of the shooting and officers can be heard in recordings yelling, "Drop it." Graveley wouldn't answer questions about Sheskey's or other officers' continued employment with the Kenosha Police Department. As the DA's briefing was still going on, members of Blake's family and their attorneys held their own press conference in reaction to the announcement. LaMarr, one of the Blake family's attorneys, said the legal team is disappointed in the decision not to charge and believes there was sufficient evidence for probable cause. "If officers can justify shooting someone in this circumstance, we've got a long way to go," he said. "We don't need to hear a 2-hour explanation for what our eyes can see." LaMarr said the family and attorneys plan to bring civil action in the near future. "We will exercise every remedy that we believe is available," he said. Justin Blake, Jacob Blake's uncle, called the decision a slap in the face by Wisconsin government and the DA, and called on people to rise up in a nonviolent way. "The reason we wore our Carhartts today is to let people know we got work to do," he said. "I need you to make a lot of noise." As of around 6 p.m. Tuesday evening, a group of a few dozen had gathered in downtown Kenosha, marching and chanting in support of Blake.